What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome back to the My First Property podcast. And today, finally, because of the requests I get from Instagram to have female guests. Ta-da! And not only a female audience, we have a female lawyer where we can solve a lot of questions. I'm so excited for this episode. So please welcome Miss Denise to the podcast. Yay!
Hi, everybody.
So Happy New Year, guys. And you can introduce yourself a little bit,
Okay, so my name is Denise Pang. I'm a lawyer. I mainly focus in real estate disputes and also construction law disputes. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Sure, it triggers a lot of gay bonus in my brain.
So it ranges from land development right up to construction of the development, and then landlord and tenancy as well, includes landlord and tenancy disputes. Yeah. So that's the range of my portfolio.
So do you need to go to court often?
Yes, I do attend court. There's also alternative dispute resolution. So it includes mediation, arbitration, adjudication. If you are a developer, you might be familiar with SIPA. So those are the whole range of proceedings that I attend to.
Wow.
Settlement negotiations as well.
That's the interesting part always. Right? Always the last episode of the
It depends on the case lah. So if settlement negotiations can go through, then we'll definitely try that option first before we go on to litigation.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So she offered to come to the podcast, and it has been a while. I invite in other lawyers to come in, but you also write a lot for articles, right?
Yes, we do. We publish on our firm's website.
Wow. So I will just drop the link to their firm. So if there's any advice that you guys need, right? Because I think the fear that normal people, like last time when I buy property, right? Or if I receive a letter that is a little bit more formal with a letterhead of a lawyer, right? I panic already.
Yeah, people better not ignore lawyers' letters lah.
Yeah, so
definitely.
today we're going to talk a lot about this. And since now we're going to jump into it. Lately, a lot of projects went through pandemic, right? And then all works are held and all stop work for a while. Then there's a lot of disputes around the LAD and the late delivery and the quality of work, right? So let's begin there. So if a project is delivered late, so there's this very popular topic about when should the construction period starts counting from.
Okay.
What's your opinion on that?
From the date of the signing of the SPA, right?
Should it be from the date of signing or date of booking?
There is actually current ongoing court cases on it, right? Based on the terms of the SPA, the period is calculated from the date of the signing of the SPA. So if it's, let's say, for example, condo is 3 years, from the date of signing of the SPA.
But then there's this case that started from counting from bookings, right?
Yes, there is cases that start counting from booking.
Then the other one is if I get the keys and it's beyond the agreed date, meaning late lah.
Late delivery.
So it's called so it's calculated under the LAD, right? LAD stands for what already?
Liquidated ascertained damages.
Okay. Thank you. It's so good to have a lawyer around. So I know it's LAD only. So there's actually a formal way of calculation for the one, right?
Yes.
So is it then there's always this very interesting fact when the buyer calculate is always way higher than the developer calculate. What are most often the time the difference?
So then LAD is calculated from when the 3 years, for example, for condo, 3 years from date of completion. Okay. Then when that ends, then you start calculating day by day. But if, let's say, the developer gets an extension of time from the minister, so then that extends the construction period, then LAD cannot be imposed on that time frame.
And there's no challenge to that, right? Like this ministry thing, right? And okay, so again, two ways lah. Buyers a lot are a bit fed up because of the constant delay, extension. So then this website, I heard that you can check the validity of the extension. Because some developer, they say, oh, I have this ministry extension, so it's not calculated. But when you check their website, it's not there. Have you come across such things before?
Oh, I'm not quite sure about a third-party source on the website lah.
Oh, it's actually from the government. It's on the government website. So then,
I see.
then the unfortunate truth is that we are in Malaysia. So the website is...
Whether or not it's updated is also another matter.
Yes. So like when buyers come to me, hey, I go to the website, I check, it's not there. But then when you go check to the office, it's there. So which one is legit? Then like, I don't know, because first time we all went through pandemic altogether.
Yes.
Then besides all that, then like in terms of quality, like for defects, right? This is a very common one right now. Technically, if I send in the defect form, then the developer is supposed to come back with a reply within certain period.
Yes, there's a certain period.
Right?
It's 14 days or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, so if it's if they don't reply or if they don't do or as per code of a lot of customer, they do really also the same. I just suspect that they just take out the sticker and call it that they do. So what are the options that the buyers can take?
There's actually a home buyers tribunal under the Ministry of Housing Development. So normally most of the time the home buyers can actually go to the tribunal and file their claim directly against the developer or your management. The developer most likely. So then to rectify all these defects.
Is it very hard to do, like tribunal?
The pros of tribunal is that you don't need a lawyer. You can do it by yourself. And the tribunal, if you ask, they might guide you. They say, you fill in this form, you pay this fee, and then when do you need to attend the next hearing, etc. But it might be technical for home buyers as well. So, but you have to go through the entire process. You can consult a lawyer on the side, but I think the lawyer's presence during the tribunal hearing is subject to the tribunal allowing it. Yeah.
Because I heard like tribunal is way more friendly to normal people like us, right? So there's way less jargons, way less technical terms and whatsoever, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, because I almost filed in one before. So based on my experience, I tried to file in because my home condition was very, very bad. And the developer refused to respond. So I go and find out how to file in or whatsoever. But then I eventually didn't file in because we had a settlement. The other friend then filed in. And then the questions that she got was a bit more different. So her problem was an apartment, water pressure not strong enough.
Whether or not it's defective then.
Yes. So she complained to the developer didn't respond. Then she engaged a third-party contractor to do the job and then claim the developer. The developer again ignored. Then she filed into tribunal. So the entire story ends when do you call him a judge or the guy in the tribunal? What do you call him? The
president, I think, if I'm not
so they
pengurusi.
Pengurusi call what? Anyway, the guy in the the place. So they call her, then they tell her, okay, first of all, how do you determine that this is a defect? Based on what standard?
Yeah.
Right. So she very low pressure. Like low is how many PSI? What's the range of low? Okay. Then it's wrong that the developer ignored, right? But did you file in with a hard copy? Okay. Then the third point, when she asked further, when you ask the contractor to come, is he registered as a contractor to do it? Whether is this company legit or not? So because there's a standard fee to things, you can just call your friend and what makes this invoice legit. Then eventually, after all, she still get paid, but it's bare minimum like $1,000 or whatsoever only. But then my question is there an amount that you would advise? How much we go for tribunal? How much we go for lawyer?
Okay.
Because I would only imagine, right?
Yeah.
After everyone listen to this episode, everyone go tribunal.
Which is good. I encourage, if you can, you go to tribunal.
Ah, really?
Yeah, you save legal fees in the sense.
Oh yeah. For buyers,
So
yes.
when so your question to me is, when is it worthwhile going to tribunal? When to go to tribunal, and when to go to court? When your claim is less than your legal fees, go to tribunal. Or when it's your legal fees is disproportionate to your claim already, then you go to tribunal. Or if you cannot afford any legal fees then you go to tribunal. There is a limit to the tribunal's claims as well.
Yeah, 10,000 I heard.
I can't remember. There are so many tribunals, to be honest. Is it
Or then which tribunal do we go to? Housing tribunal?
housing tribunal? Home buyers.
Or home buyers tribunal?
Yeah.
Okay. Home buyers tribunal. Cool. So what if all buyers sekali group together?
If all, depending on how many buyers, if all buyers group together, it might be more cost effective and better to go to a lawyer and file your case in court. So if, like, say, for example, all your claims add up together, you exceed maybe 100,000 or maybe a few 100,000, then I think it's more worthwhile going to court. And then the lawyer's legal fees is split between the homeowners. So for example, right, this one is just low water pressure. Okay, I would advise go to tribunal. If it's tiles or cracks, go to the tribunal. For example, cases that have gone to court is, for example, timber, beams, electrical wiring. Because of there was one case that we did. The timber was not, the beam was not of satisfactory quality. So a few years later, the entire tangki collapsed. Yeah.
This is a landed house,
Landed, yes.
Or on upstairs,
Yes.
wow.
Yes. So then tangki collapsed. Then you can imagine the damage to your property. So then when your damage is that substantial, about maybe 100 over 1,000, then you need to repair this tangki and the beam and everything. So then that is a serious case that can be referred to court.
Then on that point, right, how do you quantify damage then? Like okay, so for that same case, right, since it's an example, how long after the project is completed the tangki fell, right? Because like if you think about 6 years later, if a tangki fall, it technically should still be the developer's fault, right?
Yes, so this is what we call latent defects. Defects that doesn't appear within the first 2 years. Normally, any defects during the first 24 months comes under the defect liability period. Okay, so you must notify the developer, then the developer come and rectify. And of course, this is regulated. But after the defect liability period ends, that's the end of their so-called warranty. So then whenever, let's say for example, just cracks appearing, it might not be might not be a latent defect. So normal use, wear and tear. It's not really a latent defect.
Like the fading of the paint, all those not calculated.
Not counted, yes.
But then how do you, I know it's always a debate for a lot of landed property people, owners. They try to do, the main reason why I buy an individual house is I can renovate. Once I renovate, does the latent damage code still apply?
Okay, before you renovate, you need to take all the pictures, videos and everything. Make sure that this thing, you must prove to the court the condition before you renovate. Then if let's say you discover something when you're renovating, so then you document everything. For example, an example of latent defect, or maybe the walls behind the walls, the walls are not strong enough. The cracks really
or hollow.
Hollow. That's one of it also. So then document it. Then you approach the developer first. Ask them to compensate or to rectify. You get quotations from contractors, a few quotations, and then send it to the developer. And if they don't refuse to rectify, then your next option is to, of course, get your contractor to rectify, because you need to live in it, or you need to rent it out. So rectify, pay your contractor, then only you claim back from the developer.
So there's this weird thing also, like halfway I try to hack this room. I try to remove this wall so my kitchen looks bigger, the ground floor bedroom. When I whack off the ground floor bedroom wall, then I realize the wall is in not proper condition, right? But in the first place,
you want to hack it off already.
I want to hack it off already. Then it wouldn't make sense to file already, right?
Yeah, kind of.
But then I can just... But then it's somewhat like a blackmailing already. Like I go and take picture. Then like, this is the quality of the bricks, right?
Yeah. But then before you do any renovation, of course, you need to apply to your local council. Lah. You need to comply with all the regulations. Some people just renovate. Lah.
Yeah.
But like, for example, you extend your backyard or something like that, you need local council approval.
Oh, this one also another, like, we branch.
And if you don't have approval, then your claim for any defect or whatever is also kind of bad. Lah.
So what we are speaking right now is if you want to renovate anything, especially individual title house, a lot of people think that they can do what they want as they wish, right? Actually, no. There's a guideline still that you can get from the MBS, whatever that you are in. So MBSA or KJ or Shah Alam or whatever. So there's this guideline that you can buy standard one, or you can send in your drawings for approval. Right?
Yes.
Without the approval, it's kind of illegal.
Yes.
Right? But a lot of homeowners in Malaysia, don't care if they come, then just pay the fine. And what are the fines like? Do you remember what the fines?
Sometimes it's not so much the fine. They'll ask you to remove the fixtures.
Oh.
They ask you to redo it.
That happens to a lot of especially old landed one day. Kitchen, we love the big kitchen, right?
Yes.
We extend all the kitchen
all the way back.
back to
no
back.
setback.
So there was a supposedly fire escape between buildings.
Yes.
But then you extend on the way, I extend on the way, then no more fire escape.
Yeah.
Right? Then does this affect house values in your case of practicing? Like, this property is fully extended, but there's no papers.
I see.
So do you all come across like that?
But normally purchasers don't really
care.
Consider all these things when they are purchasing. It's not really what I mean. Or what they see is all big kitchen. Okay.
Yeah. Got one time I jumped across my wife's old house kitchen. So I didn't bring the keys. Then everyone left the house. Then oh shit, I need to go out. Then the only way out is the kitchen wall. So after I climbed the kitchen wall out, I thought I would be at the fire escape. Right? Then I go in. I'm in my neighbor's house.
Okay.
Then I need to climb back out. Then the neighbor took a picture.
Trespassing.
Then saw my leg only.
Oh, I see.
Luckily, social media I'm not as famous now. If not, I'll be trespassing other people's property.
Yeah.
But you kind of think of it when fire really happens, right? Then will this affect fire insurance claims?
Yes.
Right,
It
definitely.
might already, yes. Yes, that
because
affects as
the
well.
structure is illegal in the first place, right?
So, yeah.
Okay, so okay, bear with me because I got a lot of questions to ask.
It can be a very, very wide topic.
Yeah, a very, very wide topic. So this is going to be a very interesting topic for me. Okay, so the very next question is after my personal opinion, my personal case. Almost 50% of the tiles are hollow.
Oh, okay.
In that particular toilet. Right? So when I get the key, then the whole place stickers. So then when I send for defects, besides them fixing the defects, that cost me loss of time to rent out. Because I cannot let out the property because it's under your mistake. Can I claim that portion of rental?
So this, for example, you are claiming you say I could have rent out for 3,000 per month, and you took 2 months to rectify this thing. I lost 6,000 ringgit. But the problem is you have to prove to court that you are able to rent out these 2 months anyway. Because you might not find a tenant. It's not confirmed that you can find a tenant in such short amount of time as well. So these losses are a bit not confirmed, so to speak, in layman terms. So this loss, normally the courts won't grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where
unless you already have a tenancy agreement signed.
My point exactly.
And then the tenant go in. Tenant discovers the defects. And then
you take the time to fix.
Yeah, you take the time to fix. Then the tenant,
because of this he leave.
Then maybe that loss is much more actual losses already. Then you can prove your loss. Yeah.
This is exactly the point that we're going to, like compensation, right? The sum of compensation. Everybody tries to claim developer for money, right? Our nature. But then it's very hard to then tabulate the amount lost. Of course, I want, especially for those who made a very bad mistake on the choice of property already, they try to claim as much as possible to cut losses. Like one also an audience who bought a new property. So because she went UK, the water pipe burst for the washing machine. Then now washing machine in the kitchen cabinet area. One. So then there are a lot of sludge that comes out with it. I don't know whether is it the water. She said water pipe lah. I don't know whether is it a sewage pipe or whatever. Those looks like shit lah. Really like flows out. Then the furnitures all are dirty and damaged. But she was in UK. 3 weeks later, she come back only. Wow, why my unit like that? Then what should be her right? What would be the right action that she should take? If if you're a lawyer, like I own my unit like that.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Okay, so then it depends on how long have you bought the property for.
New.
Okay, but she stayed in it for a while, then only went to UK lah.
Oh no, she got the unit. She want to rent it out one. So I just got the keys. Then Christmas then go back UK.
I see. So then you can first you need to identify whether or not the pipe bursting, whether it's a defect or not, so to speak. But it has already burst. You really need to get in contractors to come and have a look at it. Oh, is it this pipe? They use the wrong diameter already. For this type of flow, you should use a bigger diameter. Then those is kind of a design or
it's a specification fault.
Yes. So then that can be considered as a defect. But if suddenly they use the right diameter, the material is okay, then I just don't know why it burst lah. So then you can also still try. You claim because it's a new property you claim under defect liability period.
So defect liability period, they only cover the
rectification, but not the losses.
Yeah. But then like all the furniture I move in, I want to rent out but now it bursts, then it damages the sofa, then the kitchen cabinet. How?
Tribunal.
Then only you bring it to tribunal lah.
Yeah, you try to get the developer to compensate, but of course developers they do the minimum lah.
Of course they say no first lah.
Yeah, they say no first, then after that maybe they do a minimum lah. And then if you really want some more, then you go to the tribunal and see what you get from the tribunal. And if the tribunal is with you, you can claim some lah. But not all lah. Like like your friend is that.
Yeah. She's pretty famous, so yeah.
Your receipts also, when you buy the furniture, your sofa costs 5,000 ringgit. You need to keep the receipts. Then like, where's the receipt?
Yeah. Good point. Because I don't keep receipts and now I don't even take receipts.
But if it's like your credit card transaction, then you try to find lah. Or nowadays, if you just digitize it lah.
Yeah.
Take picture, email it, or upload to cloud and everything lah.
Okay. Yeah, so there you have it. Then the other one is I bought the property. I got a lot of cases. I receive all this kind of email. It's as if I'm a lawyer. I bought the property with a park behind.
Yes.
Suddenly, there's a new apartment.
Okay.
And it affected whatever selling point that I enjoy for my property. Can I claim?
So the answer is, short answer, no.
Short answer, no.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because like whatever. So
that's the risk of buying, property.
New properties.
New properties in a new area.
Yeah.
So when you buy property, if there is a vacant land next to it, you better be careful lah. You hope and pray that something that depreciates the market value of your property doesn't get built there lah. For example.
And actually, some of the things, if it's within the master plan development, developer has a say one, then you can complain at least, right? If it's a different landowner altogether, right?
Different landowner.
Maybe you can try your luck with the authorities. You can tell, hey, after they build this, my whole house is under the shadow for the whole day. Then maybe. Again, it's also maybe. Then one more is tenant. Okay, this is because I just moved out from my house and I rent a place. So only I realized until now we don't have a somewhat standard tenancy agreement. And my friend all complained to me, right? Landlord never returns the deposit. So what is the proper way to ask back? Just in case my landlord, we haven't finished the whole tenancy lah. But let's say if after the tenancy ends, he refused to pay because they say you damaged the unit, I'm going to keep out or I just ghost you. What can I do as a tenant? So because a lot of international people also text me hoping that I can stand up for them, go and claim from the owner. Sorry, I'm not Superman. I'm not a debt chaser. But what are the proper things that I should do?
I see. Okay. So then before you move out, make sure you take a video of everything lah. You take a video of how you have the condition of property. So then when you hand back the keys, later on or you have a joint inspection lah, with the landlord, okay, to verify everything okay, please sign here. Or I give you the keys, please sign here, return. Because under the tenancy agreement, there's always a clause that says how to give notice to your landlord and your tenant. It might be a very small clause, but WhatsApp is not enough. Sometimes it's most probably is by way of AR registered post or whatever that's stipulated in the tenancy agreement. So before you enter into a tenancy agreement, you can also actually update that clause to say, WhatsApp communication, SMS or letter or email. Email. Update that clause. Because traditional clauses is AR registered post.
That one shows loose one or?
Why?
Because who sends post to tell you I want to extend or not?
So you can keep the AR registered post. I would recommend you keep that because sometimes you might not be able to reach your tenant or landlord lah. But keep that. Then you add on communication via email. Okay, that might be sufficient. Written. Most importantly, it should be written lah. Not phone calls are nowadays very hard to prove lah. You may say that I have already notified you via phone call, but if the other party denies it, then
no case.
No case. Yeah.
So after that, then joint inspection already. So technically, after the joint inspection, after the acknowledgement of the condition, there won't be any more. So when can the owner say like, hey, this fridge now not working? I send it for repair and it's like 1,200. When the new fridge is only 1,000, for example, right? I fix it for 1,200. Then they send you this
minus off from your deposit.
Minus off from your deposit. Is there any ways to say no because you already signed the joint inspection sheet?
Yeah, you say that everything was returned in good condition already. So then after the joint inspection, after handing over the keys, the landlord confirms that it's delivered in good condition. You cannot now, not supposed to deduct from my deposit already or withhold my 1,000 ringgit from my deposit. Yeah.
But the problem is the money is in his hands.
Yes. So then this is where some of my clients also call. I mean, some leads also call us lah. They say I want to get back this 1,000 ringgit. Then we say you can send a letter of demand from a lawyer lah. But you will have to incur legal fees. So then you have to think whether is it worthwhile or not. Just to claim back 1,000 ringgit, I have to incur legal fees of X amount.
So I can draft. And if he still refuse to pay?
If he still refuse to pay, then you have several options. You can go to small claims court.
Oh, okay.
What the public, normally some people don't know is that there is this small claims court that you can claim up to 5,000 ringgit. You can go to court yourself and file in. It's like the tribunal. You can claim up to 5,000 ringgit. So then you just fill in the form, go to court and say, this fellow owe me how much, and then you have to also, the forms or the cost papers we call, you have to serve it yourself lah, as in like you deliver it yourself via AR registered or however lah, email lah, whatnot. You have to deliver it to the other person. And if the other person doesn't appear at all, ignore, then the court will grant you a court order for whatever amount you want lah. Then with that court order, then you enforce it lah.
Enforce it.
That one, then also.
That's the technical.
That part, if your landlord still refuse to pay, even if there's a court order, then you really have to get legal fees. You really have to engage a lawyer to enforce it already. So then it comes down to, after all the time and effort.
Then is it worth the 1,000?
Yes, is it worth the 1,000?
But still lose lor. and that's the common problem I foresee. Not foresee. I hear for a lot of people. So like a lot of. I keep encouraging people to be landlords, So I also hope everyone is a kind landlord, right? Yeah. We are making so much money off them already. At least give back the deposit, right? A lot of people never give back one. So which is quite screwed up. And
these are the risks that come with entering into a tenancy agreement, the landlord and tenant relationship. These are all risks that you might have to incur legal costs to enforce something or recover something in the end, or maintenance and whatnot also.
So then does it matter if the tenancy agreement is stamped or not?
Legally,
So like it's like so this is a tenancy agreement that I write myself. 8 points only. How much to pay, whatever, when, by when, you didn't pay or whatever. Yeah, you sign, I sign. Then we didn't send for stamping. Then when things happen like that,
there is a dispute in
Yeah.
court, and if it goes to court,
Ah.
yes, the court will require a stamped copy lah.
a stamp lah.
Yeah.
So if I stamp later,
Then you pay the penalty lah.
it's fine, right? It's not very expensive only, ma.
Depends on the value lah, but not very expensive lah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but of course, having a stamped tenancy agreement, it contributes to your
Income
income lah. That one is also another more practical side lah. Whether or not you want to consider it as your income.
Yep. Not everyone wants to consider it as an income.
That is also something.
Yeah, so yeah, in order for things to have power in the eye of the law, I think everything needs to be recognized,
Yes.
right?
You must do everything
proper.
yes, by the law.
Proper. I think proper is the key word. Then I hear, right, throughout everything that we spoke, right, documentation is a very big thing, right?
Yes, it is.
Like, take a lot of pictures,
Yes.
a lot of videos,
Over communicate.
over communicate. Yes, over communicate. Then, okay, we play the other side. I have a tenant who is not paying, right, for 2 months, for 3 months. I send warning letter 1, warning letter 2. Then, what is the right way? I think you wrote about this, I think. What is the right way to chase the tenant out or ask for rental?
Okay, so the law in Specific Reliefs Act, we have a provision that says that you must get a court order before you recover possession lah.
Okay.
Or you cannot just simply kick people out. Then you're no different from along lah, basically.
Yeah.
So the court, and because there is always two sides to a coin sometimes, the tenant don't want to, it's not that the tenant doesn't want to pay, but sometimes it might be the landlord's fault why the tenant is not paying as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why the law directs it to be resolved in court first. Then only you can have the right to possession lah, to repossess your property if you necessary.
So maybe you can help us run like step by step. So by tenant not paying, where should I go? I file in tribunal. No.
Tenant not paying, so currently there is no tribunal for landlords and tenants to go to.
Oh yeah, that's the big
Yeah.
thing right now lah.
Yeah. There is a proposed Residential Tenancy Act by the ministry, but it has not been tabled yet in Parliament. So it has not come into fruition. It's still drafting lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For very long lah.
Yeah, for very long. I still don't know when.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what can the landlord do? What should I do to get a court order?
Okay, so there are a few legal proceedings that you can go through. One is writ of distress. So basically, this writ of distress allows you to recover rental up to 6 months.
Writ of distress.
Yes.
How do I even spell writ?
WRIT.
WRIT.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Writ of distress. I will need to Google a lot after this episode.
Yeah, it's under the Distress Act. So this is one of the fastest way lah. Because writ of distress, you don't need to notify your tenant already. You just go straight to court. You say this fella didn't pay, and then I want for how many months already, and it recovers 6 months. 6 or 12? 12 months.
6 to 12 months didn't pay.
I think it's 12 months.
After 12 months, he didn't pay, only I can...
You are limited to 12 months only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it means, then how do they know that the tenant didn't pay?
Okay, so then if
Because the landlord
you don't need to notify the other party ma. So then if the other party say you want, then when you get a writ of distress, then you can go and apply to seize the tenant's property to pay back your areas of rent lah. But what it does not do, it does not chase your tenant out. The tenants can still live there. It's just that you go in the apartment, you can
take their things.
Take their things and sell. But there is also So
It's still my thing in my house.
So if you are the tenant, you're taken by surprise. That in order to not take my things, I will settle with you. So that is the best outcome lah for a writ of distress. You hope that the tenant will settle the areas lah. Once you come to say, look, I have a court order, please pay me. If not, I can seize your belongings.
But how? Like all the locks are all... Can you change the locks?
You engage the court bailiff's assistance. If you really go in and seize the property lah, the court bailiff will act as a officer lah.
Then is there such thing like I take whatever amount up to the 12 months rental?
Yes, but also tenants lah. They really sometimes don't have much property.
Yeah.
And personal belongings you can't take. For example, clothes or things that they need for their occupation, which is basically sometimes laptop.
Yeah.
That's valuable lah. Cannot take.
Wow, then my watch collection better not put at home.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
But if you pay rent, then okay lah. Yeah.
Of course, I pay ahead of time. So. Wow.
But if let's say your tenant is already defaulting in rent,
meaning he's already in not a good place, right?
Yes, exactly. So then, writ of distress might not be what you want lah. Then then the next action is court action straight away. Court action you can claim for anything. You can claim for vacant possession. You want to kick him out. You want to claim for your areas of rent, of course. And then if he overstay, for example, he didn't pay 2 months already, you terminate and ask him to move out. And he still don't want to move out. He overstay for another 6 months. So then you are entitled to claim for double the rent for 6 months. Overstaying. So then, of course, then under your tenancy agreement, you are also sometimes the tenancy agreement has a clause where if you terminate earlier than the full, for example, 2 years, then you have to pay me a certain amount for the rest of the tenancy period. So they can claim that as well.
Oh, so I claim that, then again you minus that.
As in add into your claim?
Oh, add into my claim. Okay. But then this is all thinking that after I issue I enforce the court order, you will pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
So all this is still based on...
Assuming that the tenant has means to
pay.
If
I really no money. Now I got one heart, you take. How? Then
also that is a risk for every person who goes to court lah. That even if you get the court order, you might not still receive payment at the end. That's what we call a paper judgment. On paper, you're right. You got everything you want. You were wrong, and this is what they should compensate you. Then after that, when you try to enforce it, you realize the party has nothing to pay you, and then he might file for bankruptcy already. Then you have nothing.
But then if he has savings, he has means to pay, but he just refused to pay.
Okay, so then you need to know how much he has. If you know that the tenant has other properties, then you can apply. One of the ways of enforcing a court judgment is to apply for seizure and sale. So you can seize his properties. For instance, he has a car. Then you try to seize it and sell it off to pay off your judgment.
Wow.
There are few enforcement proceedings. And also, if you have their bank account, they transfer payment to you every month. So one of it is called garnishi proceedings. Garnishi. Yeah, so you apply to court to take whatever is in his account.
Up to the amount that they owe me lah.
Yeah, up to the amount that they owe you lah.
KWSP can.
Let me think.
Well, I got his IC number.
Yeah.
His KW, if he's like 30 plus, he sure got money inside one. But he sure cannot spend on my account one.
Yeah.
Can I go for that one?
Can't remember, to be honest.
I should be a lawyer lah. Huh? Well, but it's just very... Okay, this is the part. That's why I'm so excited to have you here, right? All these, right? If I didn't go through you, if I didn't speak to you, you gave me 1,000 words to guess. I would not guess that read or whatever. I can't even repeat what you just said. I need to look at the recordings later again.
Writ of distress, yeah. The other one is writ of summons. Different. So this is more technical lah.
So then, like all this is available within the website of your company. Yes and no. Some lah. But they can always call to ask for advice, right?
We have a 30-minute free consultation.
Cool. After that,
After that, I have to charge lah.
like how much would the charge be? Usually,
lawyers usually charge hourly rate lah. We have an hourly rate as well lah.
Standard? No, this is like because
different law firms got different rates, so
so I can call in to ask what's the rate like first lah.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, so they pay first only talk lah. So I would assume.
It depends lah.
I talked to you so long already, then you.
Yeah. So then the lawyer don't want meet you.
Yeah. Okay, but the whole point is because we normal people are just too afraid when it comes to lawyers.
Why?
Like you say, I issue lawyer letter. No, we settle here. Always like that one. And I got into big trouble because I got a friend whose English is, I think he's trained. He really likes law. Then the way he writes the letter to the developer sounds like a lawyer. So the developer thought that I already engaged a lawyer. Then that become very serious. I thought you were sincere. You want to try to settle off court, but then now you issue somebody like, no, that's my friend. Yeah, so there's this very sensitive things about lawyer. But anyway, one more exact case, right? Everyone wants to complain about the property once they get the keys, right? But after they get the keys, most of the people complain one. But because they are part of the P&L of the property already, now because they own it, the more they complain about, you see this property is like crap, it's nothing like what they promised, but they cannot put it out there because it affects their property price.
I see.
So then this becomes a very weird condition for them, right? Then there's this precedent case. Like a lot of developers are very afraid of. Like if I were to file in this one, because for example, like the clubhouse, the common area facility is not completed, then you already tell me VP and I get the keys. But when I go to the swimming pool, it's empty. I cannot really use it. Technically, I can claim LAD for common areas, right? But then developers then try to settle. This is my exact case. They try to settle. So a lot of the legal friends then tell me you can claim way more because developers are worried that if this case goes in, it forms a precedent where other
purchasers
can also file in the same case.
Yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because it sounds like I'm the lawyer here. I'm not. If A buyer files in and he succeeds, B, C, D, E, F, G, whenever they file the same case, automatically they get.
Very high chance that you get yes.
Right.
So there is already a precedence against them. And yeah, all the purchasers subsequently will like piggyback right on it and they will most likely succeed until the developer of course rectifies it, which is to finish off the swimming pool lah. So normally home buyers, you have to know your rights lah. You don't sit on your rights. And but VP is also on a case by case basis lah. Even though some parts are not finished, sometimes VP can still be delivered. Under the eyes of the law, it's still livable. Yes. Deliverable. Then they can deliver vacant possession.
But my one is the road barely.
That one.
Yeah. Oh, that one was a very, very bad investment. But it's a good learning lah. It's a good learning. But then, do you have any other like interesting, most common questions that a lot of people ask from your side? Like first time home buyers, they call in for weird things. What are more interesting?
Sometimes it's just it was not as per what they expected lah. So they delivered. They promised, for example, how many square feet, and then when delivered, I go and measure myself, less than there's 10 square feet difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so normally the SPA there is a clause on that says
within 5%, 3%.
Yeah, and then they say how much they will compensate you. Then they say, no, I don't want that, but I want my area back. I want refund, or you extend lah. But the property is already built. I mean, if let's say it's landed lah,
still cannot lah.
So you follow the SPA lo. You are bound by your SPA, and if your SPA doesn't say allocate, for example, or your car park, or your this one corner, I don't know. It's people always turn here, then they might scratch my car or anything. So, but the SPA says car park 1, 2. Yeah. 2 car parks I gave you already. Yeah. So it this type is kind of not enforceable lah. These complaints. So that's why buying
what
property.
A statement. I like. This is not mistakes. These are complaints.
So
Wow.
so buying from a reputable developer, a developer that knows how to design everything in there. So that is one of the considerations when you are purchasing property or investing also lah.
Good lah.
Also that the developer doesn't go bankrupt in the middle of the construction.
Yes. Next question.
Well, that is another area. So.
Because like I have friends if you know the USJ1 area where a lot of abandoned projects next to the toll gate one. So a lot of even my friends who watch my channel, my friends who knows I have a channel but they didn't listen, then they go and buy a project where the developer zhao lou lah, right? Then he come to me, property cannot one lah, just because they bought the wrong one. And technically, what can they do? Because let's say they get a property which is 500,000, they build up to foundation halfway, then they zhao. So the bank already released like maybe a quarter, which is like 125,000. Then she needs to pay the installment and the interest for the 125,000 release. But then, is there a way forward to the case? Or after she finished paying, right? Got one day suddenly she tell me, hey, I finished paying my debt for a foundation within that site. Is there anything that the buyers can do
to recover abandoned project? Your legal short answer no. Your legal action is against the developer because that's your contracting party. Your SPA is signed with the developer. So then the developer didn't deliver. You built halfway. You can enforce your rights in court, definitely. But the court will give you a judgment, but you can't.
There's nothing to claim.
There's nothing to claim from the developer. It's insolvent. So then it's there. It's just there.
Until a new
developer steps
in,
or the ministry steps in.
Ministry steps. So if a new party steps in, then say, okay, we will complete the job, but then how do they calculate the starting date and the ending date again?
Then that is up to negotiations lah.
So there's no fixed one.
You have to renegotiate everything. So then you purchased from the developer. What is left now that is valuable is basically the land.
Yeah.
So then you have to try to, but the land, the value is also limited because you haven't developed yet. So then you have a lot of purchasers that has an interest in the land. They're claiming an interest in the land. So then that's where you try to get back your money from lah. So
it's either a new party comes in and buy out all the land, right? Okay, whatever we pay you back. If not, if I don't come in, you get nothing. Now at least you get something.
Yes.
Your choice.
Yes.
Then I settle all. Then the whole piece of land is mine. I redevelop.
Yes.
Or I would complete the project for you, but the starting date is here. The complete date is here.
Yeah.
Then you will start. Then you will continue paying from the existing financing partner.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I help you, bro? My friend, that one. He asked me.
So there is a lot of risk when it comes to purchasing property.
Yeah, so
yes.
I realized that buyers in Malaysia are very spoiled. Like we are so spoiled with all the top 10 developers who builds everywhere, right? Like all the properties that I review, most of them all get completed and all sold out, very nice, happy, ever ending. But there are still a handful of developers that halfway cannot. And then these stories, because very shy to also share. I thought you buy a property, I always remember who buy what lah.
Yeah.
That's my interest and obsession. That property you buy, how already? Halfway. I bought one in Kuchai, halfway left. Like that ah? You know what to do? Sway lo.
But if you're lucky, so it really depends on luck.
Then is there anything I can do? Everyone tell me no point, no money, unless you file, then no money to file also, then leave it though. Then you just accept life like that. Oof. Yeah, but now you got actually no choice, bro. Until the next developer steps in.
Yes. So then the choice of purchasing that property is even more paramount. Before you make the decision, you make sure that you double check the developer's credentials, reputation, what projects have they built and completed and sold. What's the feedback on that? Did they rectify defects? Are there any complaints? How many?
Okay. Wow. Okay, then just now you talk about the area part, right? Now let's say you are supposed to give me 700 square feet. Does the area of the wall count? Or is the... So let's say I got wall to wall. Is it the outline of this inner wall to this inner wall? Or is it middle line of the wall to middle line of the wall?
The wall is yours, right?
Half of it, lor.
If you want the wall, then it has to be built on your land. So yeah lah.
So it includes the wall lah.
Includes the wall.
Because every time you, no matter how you measure, right, sure chow a little bit, right?
And then you measure, you're not a surveyor, you're a layman, your job is not to measure land. So if you really want to bring a claim, then you need to get a professional to come in and
a professional surveyor.
So and then again, that's cost also. So then
but then the cost here is also beyond money. There's a lot of effort and time. And because I need to work one, so unless you got no work, then this is your profession, then happy for you. But if you need to work on it, it's a very big hassle to file all this. That's why I know developers are supposed to provide the best quality possible, but sometimes everything is handmade. Property is one thing, right? That is 100% handmade. Every pipe, right, is connected. Every bricks are laid. Every concrete is poured by men. But people expect 100% perfect. Your car 100% built by machine. Still got defect, man.
yes.
There will be margin of error. So this is something that I wish buyers, they always go to a new property with the mindset of looking for errors. Instead of appreciation of workmanship. So that I just had a conversation with some developers. We give them solid timber, but with the stigma of developer will never give good things, they tear down all the solid timber and put all tiles.
But nowadays developers, they give you options.
So okay, since you talk about options, right? If it's fully furnished, does the furnishing in the unit falls under DLP? Let's say if no kitchen, I don't have to be liable for the kitchen that the buyer put. But if you provide the unit with the kitchen already, kitchen got problem, can I claim under DLP?
If it's under your SPA, then yes.
If it's under the SPA.
Unless of course your SPA say, okay, this is not included in the defect liability period or warrant. There's no warranty for this one. Then sorry, law don't have law.
Okay.
So it really depends on the SPA that you sign.
So for those who are listening, if you buy new property, SPA is standardized.
Yes, standardized.
Then some is so some developers do it is by give you bare unit VP, you sign the papers, then only they get the contractors to come in and finish the kitchen. So if anything wrong with the kitchen, you talk to the supplier, not me. But that's that I ease the entire process and you get some financing for the kitchen.
Sometimes it's also a supplementary agreement. The furnishings and everything is on a separate agreement from the SPA because SPA standard.
But the supplement, so is that supplementary agreement included in SPA?
Usually no.
No, right?
No.
This is where all the rebates and discounts also happen, right? Or this is the price we agreed on. This would be the discounts that we will give you, rebate, whatever. This is the final price.
But it's all not in the SPA.
Yeah. So when you go to court, it's SPA price, it's still SPA price. Right? Yeah, it's called a supplementary agreement. And like based on your experience, right? When you have buyers versus developers, odds of winning cases, usually which side more?
It's not specific to developers or purchasers. It's more on the case, on who is at fault. So it's on a case-by-case basis.
Still case on case.
Still on case-by-case. So if really developer is at fault, then the purchaser has an advantage. Provided you prove everything. And of course, if the developer is not at fault, then the purchaser has no case.
But I realized this when I was trying to claim a lot of things, right? I really learned that everything needs to be like proper and actual.
Yes,
right?
Documentation, right?
Like I repeat this again because it's so important. Like you say, I want reimbursement. How much?
Quantification, yes.
So like, okay, 35,000. How do you derive 35,000? Or my neighbor do 35,000. Not good enough, right? I get one quotation, verbal, written. Then do you have comparison?
Several.
Then like, are these contractors registered? Then all this then falls into place, right? Then only, wow, to ask for money is not easy. Might as well do myself.
Yeah, so time, money, effort, whether or not it's commensurates with your claim.
So that's why I always like, because I foresee developer is going to be like dinosaurs. It's going to be very, very rare, especially good ones.
Yes.
Because like it's just a simple mindset. Or you think when you think about developers, right? You think about them making a lot of money. Not necessarily the case really, because if you look in their profit margin, their published profit margin, right, not very healthy really. Right?
Yes.
Then there are a lot of low cost compliance involved lah, more setback lah, more landscape lah, more livability lah. You need to build more houses at a cheaper price lah. All is taking off from their margin only. Then sooner or later nobody wants to do the job already.
So the law has to balance it lah. Although the law protects consumers and purchasers, you have the right to get what you paid for. On the other hand, you need to balance it so that you don't destroy the development company. So that if there are not enough developers, your country is not developed enough. Then the economy also cannot improve. Then you are stuck with very rudimental development.
Yeah.
So there is a balance to maintain.
Yep. Then, okay, now enough of the serious stuff, like some fun stuff. Let's talk about your first property. Right.
Okay.
So because you're also expecting one new baby coming up, congratulations.
Thank you.
So then, if you guys have any more questions, right, you can just comment down below, right? It's either I can reach out to her or we just drop an email address. You can reach out to her, but don't expect her to answer so soon, right? When did you buy your first property?
I bought it just right before I got married. Yeah. So we were looking for a place to...
At what age may I ask?
28.
28.
Yep.
So the property is solely under your name?
No,
Share.
joint. That time we didn't listen to your podcast.
Okay. So you share with your husband?
Yes. So I bought it together with my husband. Yeah.
Then, cool fact, Jonathan Yee is your senior.
Yes.
One of the... Well, it would be so fun next time we do a reunion and everybody come back,
That'd
right?
be nice.
All guests come. Then we all go yum cha. Oof. Okay. That's the idea. Okay, editor, take note. It's an apartment?
Yes, I bought a condo unit nearby where I work.
Oh, that's the best.
So I don't need to jam. Previously, I was living like 1.5 hours away from my workplace. Yeah.
Oh.
So that 1.5 hours is including jam. No jam is half an hour. But of course, work ma, right? There's the peak period where you get off work and you have to go to work. So then, 1.5.
Then how was the decision like making the property? Like you and your husband, so how do you draw, why must it be close to your place instead of his?
Oh, but his parents also live nearby.
Oh, that's so ngam lah.
Yeah, so my office is in PJ. His parents he was living also at that time in PJ.
Oh.
Yeah, so then it made sense to us that we buy a place in PJ lah.
And then this is also a relative question that I'm also facing lah. Like with one kid, an apartment or condo kind of makes sense. One single floor. So do you have like conversations like my wife just had with her friends? In a double story landed house, right? It's so difficult to take care of a kid.
Because he runs up and kid runs up and down.
Then even if it's baby, right, you put him up the room. Suddenly you realize you cannot come down and cook. Because if he cry or whatsoever, right, you cannot hear. Then you put the monitor or whatsoever.
Yes.
Then suddenly, then you need to drop everything off the fire, off the water, then go up. He just want to flip. He cannot find the pacifier. Then you run down again. Then when you do laundry, then whatever. So then when we move up to apartment 1 floor, right? The kitchen is right next to the room. The room is right next to the living room. I can even hear what channel he. So he suddenly he'll run in because the YouTube got ads. I can hear that it's ads, not his show is going on.
I see.
He'll going, the ads is playing. So what's your opinion on this, like being a mother lah?
Well, that surprisingly, it came one of the perks lah of living in condo. I had never had that issue with my kid. So my kid playing in the living room, I'm cooking in the kitchen. I can like look at him. Yeah, so that's okay lah. So when I bought the condo, because we were both without kid then, so we were merely looking for a place that's convenient to live, and so even if we have one kid, it can still fit lah. Yeah. But even with a second one, and this is the thing with kids, even though now modern living, we have a kid room just for the kid. But last time, kids sleep with parents. I used to sleep with my parents.
Yeah.
And
Still
to
okay.
this generation, also kids prefer to sleep with their parents.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change, So everybody sleep in the master bedroom. So make sure your master bedroom big enough, can already.
There must be an ultra king size soon.
Yeah.
I bought a king size and sometimes I sleep on the floor.
I understand.
There's this weird thing. I don't know. I just watched this video. Right? I think we are shifting to parenting already. Babies automatically, by default, sleep heading north. Have you realized that before?
No, I haven't actually. My son sleeps in 360 directions.
but then they are like, to me, I didn't notice that until, because I just shift house then I look back, because I'm very particular about direction because me and my feng shui thing Then suddenly like, why this bugger always, this like the bed is so big, why must you sleep melintang like that?
Between the parents.
And you sleep in like the furthest distance away, right? Then it's north.
Oh.
Then no matter how I tilt him, right, then he will slowly go back to north.
That's interesting. I need to go back and check.
So now they speak. So if this is true, right, parents, please let me know in the comments section. I'm so obsessed now with this theory. Like, is it true? Like, it's true for my kid. Then just now you spoke about the growing space need, right? Like now we have the room for kids, but they used to play and study only, right? Ultimately, I think when we are around 40 plus, like you look young lah. So let's say if the kid is like 10 to 12, suddenly they prioritize privacy already.
Okay.
The age where they want to be on their own, they want to do their own things, then only there will be this need of a landed home.
To have their own room, right?
To have their own room. There's a separate floor of privacy for them or whatsoever. Any take on, what's your, like, now if you were to buy your next home, I can bet my money is a landed lah.
Depends.
Not if money is not an issue lah.
Okay. No, even if money is not an issue, it really depends on.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah. So
you must consume a lot of content for the a lot of content of the channel already.
Yeah.
Because everyone just landed.
Yes.
Everyone just wants landed, no matter how far away. Everybody just wants landed, and that is a problem financially lah. So like a lot of like an episode I uploaded recently, everybody wants a house just in case they need it. So they buy a landed property first here at 700,000 because maybe in the future I cannot afford already. But the kid belum come out also, still in the stomach. So then you are buying a property in case this baby for the next 12 years needs the space.
That's a bit unpredictable.
Yeah, so why not use all the money to buy something that can generate income first? Then when he really needs the space, if I cannot afford to buy, rent, it still makes sense, because eventually after 18, 21, right, they will move out also, what?
Yeah, and then you and your spouse, then you two only need a
room.
No, as in apartment is easy to clean, right?
Yeah lor.
And it's one floor, you don't need to climb any stairs. So then, the need for space differs as you age lah.
Then this is also somewhat like a personal question. Like for you, how did you find interest in this field, or you just bump into it? This field of work.
I was exposed to property disputes and construction law early lah in my legal career. So then that was an interest. Oh, and also my mother used to rent properties as well. In the sense of renting out, she was a landlady.
Wow.
Yeah. Not very. I mean, she had one lah, and we had one house for our homestay, and then she invested in one. Yeah, so then I always go with her. So every tenant complain, then we have to go and see lah what happened. So then from young lah, there's kind of a slight exposure to all these issues already.
So interesting.
Yeah.
That's just like I also follow my auntie go collect money. That's how I developed the interest. I should bring my kid, but now all e-payment one. You don't see
Then you
transaction.
see, oh no, the roof leaking. Then how much need to spend to repair?
Yeah. Then like another thing is like among your female friends, is that property investment part of the conversation all the time? Because it's pretty obvious, right? If you look into the channel, it's a very male, one-sided kind of thing, which I totally disagree. Because I learned all my investment knowledge from women, my mother and my aunt. I learned. So that's why my aunt is still very weirded out by the phenomenon that his nephew is famous for what she taught me. All these values, right, I realized is all from her. I give all credits to her and my mother. Like all the personal financing principles or whatsoever. But then when it comes to practicality, like of course engineering, construction, architecture is very heavy male. But then when it comes to like marketing side, the finance side of properties, right, I see a lot of seriously women a lot lah.
Yeah.
That's why like a lot of women audience, female audience, I always tell them if you're young, if you're like 26, 27, right, if you can afford, get one.
Actually, I don't think it's
Gender thing
as well. So nowadays, even like I have single female friends who, then we have this type of conversations as well. It's in our conversation on whether you want to buy or you don't buy. Okay, I'm just going to decide. I'm just going to rent. Then maybe when I save enough money, I just want to buy one retirement property. That's all. That's fine as well. Or I want to invest in another different business. So yeah, it comes up when we're talking about life lah.
Very good.
Yeah, so
very good.
Not really. It may appear male dominated because architecture, mostly guys, engineering and construction. But like you said, financing,
the marketing side,
legal side as well.
Yeah, or legal, all women when I see. That's why sometimes cannot score also. Paiseh. So, but yeah, like my goal, like now, I think like we all pursue equality, whatever, right? Especially for a young woman, if you can afford, get one investment property. So if the boyfriend proposed to you, then he say he has a house, bonus lah. You can still be a landlady like your mother, collect money lah, and just keep it for your product or whatsoever. Then if the husband cannot afford, then maybe you offer your unit law, or you join name and buy another one law. But always keep one for yourself. I think that is very, very important for women. I think so, because like the women in my life are all very powerful. That's why they are the one who wear the pants most of the times in the relationship. So like my aunt has a few properties when my uncle don't really have any. So when you think about it, then and I grew up in that scenario knowing that it's fine for the mother of the family to own all the properties. Wow. And the husband just like act like he does all the work, go and fix the thing. That he thinks that he contributes a lot. Sorry, uncle. but that's the environment that I grew up in, really.
Yeah. So for me, I come from a single parent family. So my father passed away very early. So then, my mother is basically superwoman. She does everything.
Wow.
So
Respect.
to me also, I don't think I'm limited by my gender. So that was the perception I grew up as well. Yeah. So I think now narrative also is shifting. So like, for example, house chores is equal responsibility. That's
I do a lot.
Yeah. Fathers taking on a more active role in parenting. Yeah. But it also depends on each family is different.
The dynamics are different.
Yeah, really is different. And it's up to you to decide.
Yep. Cool. So, I speak very long already. Just to conclude, right? Like any plans of property investment for you and your husband?
For now, we only have one property lah. So whether or not we are still learning and researching. So for us, I think we are very cautious lah. Besides making sure that we can afford, because we also have a family to maintain lah, and to raise affordability, and also the property that we're going to invest is going to be a very important decision, especially for people like us. We know the risks.
Yeah, especially you.
I know how it goes wrong in multitudes of ways.
Will that affect your decisions? Like sometimes because you have seen the darker side, not that dark lah. People just don't pay lah.
But of course, I know the advantages is also you have to know your risk and your solutions. So you be informed purchase.
decision.
Yeah. So I think it's something I'm interested in, and so most
Cool.
probably that we will go in. But of course, you must make sure that you really can afford it.
Yes, that's a very, very important calculated risk. Calculated risk. And okay, if you can give any advice to a young woman or young person, not gender specific. Some advice. What would you tell? Would you encourage them to buy property early?
If you can afford, yes, definitely.
If you can afford.
I mean, it's better than spending it on
Other things.
Other things lah. Yeah, yeah. Lifestyle. I mean, if you don't need to go to travel to so many places
All the time.
Yeah, 1 year, how many places?
Wow, now I see everybody like 保守 go couldn't wait. They just transit in the airport, same luggage, let's go. Wow.
But okay lah, it's a choice that you make and you have to bear with the consequences lor. And if you really want to invest and in the future you get returns, then that is also your choice. Everybody has their. But again, we encourage lah.
Word. Oof. Yes. It's so good to speak to audience. and I think that's just summarize the tip of the iceberg for this entire legal scenario of properties. I think because if you look, so what was scary to me when I start venturing into legality, because I was shadowing my CEO, then he studied law. Then I studied architecture. I look at drawings and diagrams. He looks into words. Then how you reform, how you cover this side of the statement, it becomes another thing. He showed me, then he covered this one, it reads another thing. So which one is right?
How you interpret it, yeah.
Yeah, so then that becomes a very interesting topic for me. That's why I got into we even talked about SIPA yet, where there's how contractors are protected in case developers try to hold payment or whatsoever.
Yes.
Those are very, very interesting things, but I think that's for the future lah. Okay, so I would foresee this series can be prolonged, right? I really hope that you can come back again, but with a new baby or your colleague or whatsoever lah, right? Let's arrange. And if you guys have any more questions regarding legality or whatsoever, you need advice, you need free half an hour call. Does it apply to the same person call several times? Me and my stupid
lawyers also need to
survive.
survive.
Bad Sean. Anyway, I think if you guys have any questions, you can just put at the comments below, or you can just I'll put the website link, and there's an email if you want to send them. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much for being one of the very rare female audience. Then it's a very absolute bonus that you are a lawyer. And if you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe. Do share with your friends, especially new owners. New owners must watch this because this somewhat helps manage their expectation a little bit. Because they always think that their unit is going to look like show unit. No. Okay, see you guys. Ciao. Happy New Year.